Okay, everybody, we'll see how all of this cool stuff works. And go. I've got to get logged in on Podbean. Do that from my phone. Yeah, this is fun. All this cool technology. All right. Excuse me. Here we are, the top of the hour. It is 10 o'clock. And let me switch over to my other page here. This is my henrygreiner.com website where I post my podcast. And just bear with me while I take a look at what I have to do to go live over here. So just a second. Okay, you're going to just see kind of a blank page there for a moment. While I go over and click on my shows over here. I know I should have some little background music playing, but let's see. Okay. Okay, let's in my podcast. No, it's not the virus. It's my spring allergies. I'm sorry if I'm coughing every once in a while. But let's see. All right. Here we go. I'm about to go live over here. Just need one more setting. So this great experiment, I'm trying to do 3 things at once. I am going live with the podcast. Just another minute. I'm going live to my YouTube account, my Mission Springs Marketing YouTube account, and I'm also going live to my Facebook page at henrygreiner.com. So once I get everything configured, I know I should have started this 20 minutes earlier, but I was still downloading software and having fun with all of that. So let's see what's happening here. I should have brought my guitar up so I could have played guitar and given you a little music accompaniment at the same time. Okay. Garrett, thanks. You liked my video, huh? So I must be live. There we go. Pretty boring video. Trying to juggle all of these streams together. I figured, why not, huh? If I can do one thing, I should be able to do 3 things at the same time. Okay. I'm not going to try to pull up my YouTube channel at the same time here. I should have done that on the computer next to me, on my wife's computer. But heck, this is just a test to see how many plates I can drop at the same time, so no problem. Okay, let's see where my live channel is here on Facebook. Okay. Here I am. Now you can see my exciting studio in the spare bedroom at the Greiner bungalow. And cut back over to my page, drop my lower third, and there I see my live stream on Facebook. Okay, next thing I'm doing is to go ahead and start my live show here on Podbean. And you can follow along. I'm putting that up on the screen. Okay, hello everybody. This is Henry with 70 Plus and Podcasting. This is my test day, and I figured the first day of spring was a good time to go ahead and try to put this up on Podbean live, and also using my ManyCam software. I'm also right now going live on my Facebook channel and my Ustream, YouTube, not Ustream, YouTube, and trying to pull it all together at the same time. So see what the video quality looks like and audio quality and all of that at the same time. Again, this is Henry in Elk River, Minnesota with 70 Plus and Podcasting. I started doing some podcasting here about, I think it was February 21st, I think was my first show. And you have to excuse me, I don't have that virus that everybody's afraid of. I actually have my spring allergies that are already kicking in. And so I've got that tickle in the throat and a sniffle in my nose, and when my maple trees outside the house start to pop out even more, I hopefully won't have too much of a runny nose and runny eyes, but that has been a thing because about 18 years ago we transplanted 5 maple trees from the church property when our church built down the road from us. The old house had some maple trees sitting there, and we thought they would look really nice in our yard. So we dug up the little 5-6 foot trees and stuck them in our yard, and I didn't realize that I'm allergic to them. Figured that out just a while back, about a year ago. So pardon the mouse clicks here, the keystrokes you're hearing clicking. Just trying to type. I want to see how many things I can do at the same time. Oh, there we go. Back over here. You're not looking at multiple screens on there. Anyway, this is a test. I did want to share with everybody a couple of websites because this being the first day of spring, it is the launch of my Mission Springs marketing business once again. I've started off rebuilding my henrygreiner.com website that you can see up on your screen. If you go to henrygreiner.com, those listening to the podcast, you will see this podcast uploaded there later on this morning, a little later in the afternoon, depending upon how long it takes me to get everything else handled here. But I will be uploading the video or the audio file out here, and then I'm also going to be later in the day today creating a video here on my business website, Mission Springs Marketing. It's actually missionsprings.net, missionsprings with an S.net. Don't go to the .com, you'll end up at a Christian campground out in the Rocky Mountains. So this is my business website. In past years, I have, well, for over 25 years now, I've been in the IT world where I've worked in 3 different IT offices. The last one that I left in 2008 after about 8 years, where I was the IT manager for a large furniture store here in Minnesota. And off and on, I have worked part-time and full-time while I've been working in these IT offices. And during that time, I have also built websites for people. And for about 4 years, I helped a friend of mine who's an internet marketer. We traveled around the country. I did live streaming of his events and built websites. I ran his video production crew for those events and worked with his website development staff and others that he had hired on, and some of them that I actually helped hire to do everything from WordPress websites to e-commerce sites. And also back, I guess probably 8-10 years ago, I started doing some podcasting in the early days of podcasting. And so that's what I have started out with here for the last month, and putting the podcast up on my henrygreiner.com site. And I have, I think this is my sixth. This one I did the other day about faith versus fear. Excuse me. Talking about the choices that we have to make. This is kind of a crazy time with the coronavirus out there. It's more than a crazy time, and it's a fearful time for a lot of people. So if you go over here to the website, you don't have to use the application. You don't have to have the Podbean app on your phone or on your tablet or whatever, but you can actually just go click on the player and listen to the audios. I actually have a link on here that has all of my podcast on that I have done. Excuse me a minute. So what I want to do is help ministries, nonprofit organizations, local business people as a digital online consultant. And I have connections with a number of other businesses and people that can do the detailed work much better than I can in a lot of these areas. And so basically, you can think of me as your physician's assistant, as it were. Like when I go to the clinic, I don't have a particular doctor that I see normally as the first person I visit if I've got something going on. I go and see a physician's assistant at the clinic in Elk River, and they may refer me to somebody else if it's, whatever type of specialist. So that's what I am doing with my Mission Springs marketing consulting business. I am connecting with people that I've worked with in the past. I am working with new people that I've connected with. It's been really interesting how the Lord has connected me with some new people over the last month or two. Now that the Lord kind of showed me that it was time to get back into doing this. I had shut down my business for about 5 years. Back in 2014, we shut it down before my wife Leslie and I went to ministry training out in California. And so I'm back at it again. For those looking at the live stream video, you can see, or if you go to my missionsprings.net page and click on the About, I have some screen captures from the Amazon. It's called the Wayback Machine. And here's a picture of a website that I did in 1995. I found out about the internet and started using it back in 94 at Anoka Ramsey Community College when Netscape was the only web browser and gray backgrounds, and then things started to move rather quickly. And in 95, I convinced the president of the Bank of Elk River that they needed a website after pestering them for about 6 to 8 months. And he said, okay, so you guys go build it. So one of their vice presidents and I sat in the basement of the bank and built the first website for the bank. And this is a screen capture of one of the pages, the homepage that we put up back in about that time. And then I also purchased a domain called elknet.net, I think it was, either net or, elknet.com it was. And I built a page with some links for community information. I put a page of information up for the city of Elk River and connected to some of the resources that they had. They actually didn't even have a basic website at that time, so I helped them do one of their first websites. I did local schools and education information, what was available there in 95, 96, church directory and so on, and offered that to the community. So I am getting back into that, as I've said, starting with podcasting and connecting with local businesses to help bring information and training and expertise that people need to these different organizations. Again, primarily working with ministries, churches, also with nonprofits and local business people. And so if you are connected with, if you work with any of those types of organizations, let me know. Every time I do that, it kind of blows it up, doesn't it? That's a little crazy. Every time I try to shot of what I'm doing there on Facebook, it goes things up and gets that multiple strange looking screen layout. So I won't do that anymore. Get away from that. Anyway, I need to wrap this up, but for those on Podbean, let me run through quickly what you can do. That you can go get a free account. I have, if you would like to help me out, if you go to my henrygreiner.com site on the any of the podcast or the podcast page, which has the listing of all the podcasts I'm running, there's a link over there to Podbean. You can get 1 month free. It's actually free to use. Let me cut back over here for the video, folks. There we go. It's actually, you can download the Podbean app on your phone, your iPhone or your Android phones, and listen to any podcast. Hopefully you'll pull up mine, follow me. And if you want to get into doing podcast, you can begin for free. And there's a small upgrade if you want to do some additional things. Right now, I am linked up to Apple iTunes. You can find me over there on Apple Podcast. I'm, of course, on the Podbean podcast. I'm on Google Play Music. You can find me on Spotify and also on Stitcher. So, and there's other multiple directories that are pulling the RSS feed from my Podbean site where I actually post and record the episodes. So if you want to learn about that, the best way to do it is to get the Podbean app on your phone and start listening in. That's what I did. And then I found that I could actually use it to start creating my own podcast. And here on the bottom, you can see my first episode. Excuse me. First episode that I did. And you have the ability to do what I'm doing right now, to actually go into a live broadcast. And when you do that, you have access to click into this area here. And right now you can see that I'm showing the screen that's been running for almost 15 minutes. I've got a total of 2 people that have listened in over there. Wow. Thank you for anybody who's listening live right now. The other cool thing is that I could invite up to 4 guests to come on. So I will be using this in the future. In the next day or so, I'm hoping to bring on some people locally, and I click on this when I do the setup. I click on this and put an email address in and invite them, and they would have to have the Podbean app on their phone, and then through that we can go live and do a broadcast together, live podcast. And if we got really crazy, I could help set them up through the Minicam application that I have, and we could do live streaming of it too. I know a lot of people, there's people that I follow that do both live stream video into Facebook or their YouTube channel, as well as podcasting at the same time. So Number of tools out there. But if you're interested in learning how to do this yourself, if you want to share this with any business people, churches, ministries, nonprofit organizations, that because of the changes we're going through right now with the coronavirus, a lot of people are needing to quickly find a way to communicate within their business environment and to stay online. So, number of tools that we have available through the internet, whether it's podcasting, doing live video, doing Zoom meetings, Google meetings, and so on. So there's a number of opportunities that are out there, and I would be glad to help anybody who needs some help to find the pieces, put them together, and see what we can do. So with that, I'm going to end my Podbean live and also go back and end the live stream on Facebook and my YouTube channel and see what the results are, see what has happened out here. And thank you. I see somebody that's on, let me pull this up here to show you. I see that I have the 2 people that are listed, 3 people are on. There's Angelic Prophets entered the live studio and Long entered the live studio. So welcome. Thank you for following along. And with that, this is Henry in Elk River with 70 plus and podcasting. Please visit my podcast on henrygreiner.com, Henry, Griner.com, or you can visit my business website, Mission Springs, with an S, missionsprings.net. Thank you for joining me. This is Henry Greiner saying goodbye, God bless, and keep safe. Okay, so we're ending that show. And now, for those out in the live stream video world, I have to go back and say goodbye. Thanks for tuning in. Let's see what this all sounds and looks like.